That's fine.
It'll go black. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. All right. Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, the constant host over here.
Gavin Franklin.
And guys, we are here with some new people. We are being, what's the fucking word I want to look for here? We have a new lodge meeting. Yes, joined as well. We have a new lodge meeting with the fellows from Horus Hour. Welcome, Singh and Varela.
Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Thank you for being here. So one thing that we have to do is we have to talk about our choice of alcohol over here because it's what we do every episode. I know you guys aren't drinking, but we are drinking because we are alcoholics.
Yeah. We let the side down, I'm afraid. We all talk the talk over here in Europe, and I've got my water. But if you want to pretend it's something else, that's all good.
No problem. I'll go ahead and start.
I'm sure we can always edit something over here, you know.
Yeah. Just put an imaginary mug in your hand. I like it. So I'll go ahead and start. So I am drinking from a local brewery called Shell Creek. So if you're ever in the central Indiana area, I highly recommend them. Great beer, great food, great time. And I am drinking their vanilla. Tastes like fucking cream soda, and it is delicious.
Nice.
Yeah, that seems like a Dylan kind of beer, honestly. The creamsicle, whatever he
Don't
gets.
You dare shit talk me.
I am drinking a scotch today, and I'm wearing a quarter zip. I'm thinking about starting a fire,
Also,
maybe trying to conquer the world.
Let me fix this camera. Yes, the quarter zip life.
Yeah. This is the Glenlivet single malt scotch. Oh, it's very fancy.
Nice.
Very fancy, as you can see.
Does sound so.
Looking good.
Yeah. It tastes like scotch, so it's really hard to drink.
Scotch is supposed to be the easy one to drink. What do you mean?
Yeah, comparatively, for sure.
I don't have a palate for alcohol. I'd just be like, yeah, whiskey.
As long as it's drinkable, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, as long as you can get it down you.
You just gotta do its job. So, guys, one thing we have done every episode, well, I guess not every episode, but every time we've had someone come on the episode, is we have had them do a breakdown of the Primarks on who's the strongest, who's the weakest, pre-chaos bullshit. Now, I know you guys did something on your Patreon as like a battle royale, so I don't know how similar this is going to be. I don't know if you guys involved chaos bullshit or not, but we have cut that out, other than Magnus, who is, he's broken anyway. So I will share my screen. We have Graham McNeil on here, mine and Gavin's. So feel free to do it however you want to do it. Let us know, and I will start filling this out for you. And kind of give like an explanation on like why you've done them this way.
Okay. We found Graham's to be very interesting. The strongest Primarks.
Not biased at all, for sure.
Yeah, the strongest Primarks that Graham chose tended to be the ones he wrote about.
Oh yeah,
could have foreseen such a thing.
Yeah, it seems he does have a soft spot for Magnus. For reference,
Magnus is a badass.
That battle royale did not involve any chaos bullshit. I think what happened with Varela, I think one team, someone fell from a tree, landing on the other person, and they both died.
Oh, what the hell did you guys do for this? Did you just roll dice?
It's a tool online where you just put a bunch of names and it does like a Hunger Games kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, and that's cool. Essentially what happened was Vulcan fell on top of Korax, and they both died.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Come back?
No.
Probably, but we can't.
It had an absolutely crazy. It took forever to end as well. It was like it literally got to the point where Malkador and Gilliman were living in a house together that they built. And I was like, this is not how I remember Hunger Games.
That makes a lot of sense, though. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Also, an FYI, so for my rankings, they are how we've read them so far in the books. So like the Khan, we have seen none of yet, and same thing with Vulcan. So because we're doing it in production order, I know you guys have done like seasons and stuff, so you've definitely had more introduction to. You probably have seen every Legion by now, right?
I don't think we've done. Sorry, right. We haven't done Blood Angels properly.
That too, yeah.
We've had Sanguinius in a lot of books, but we haven't had like the Blood Angels.
Have you guys not done Fear to Tread?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
Soon.
Great one.
That's true. Yeah, I've read it, but we haven't covered it. So sorry, what are we ranking it on? Like, who would win in a fight, or just
Yes. So give us your fucking power rankings right here. Who is the top dog?
Okay. You want to go first, Sing?
Oof. Which way do you guys want it? Top to bottom or bottom to top?
Top to bottom.
Who's winning in a throwdown? I'm putting Lehman Russ at the top.
All right, good choice.
I'm putting Lehman Russ. He's the executioner.
He is.
I would put, Magnus has got so much crazy stuff going for him before Chaos, and Lehman Russ still takes him down. So for me, he's got to be top. Next is Sanguinius.
I like it.
Just because I don't think it's even been covered in the Siege novels yet, but what we know he does is like at the Eternity Gate and stuff from the old lore is crazy. So if it's anything like that in the Siege of Terror series, he's gonna wreck face.
Now I will say there was a line. I can't remember what book it's in, but it's a Space Wolves focused book where Lehman Russ talks about all the Primarchs he could beat, and he said the only two that he feels like he can't is Conrad Kurz, because he thinks Conrad's just so crazy that Lehman doesn't know what to do with them, and Sanguinius, because Sanguinius is just too perfect. That was his thing. He said he could take down Angron with his eyes closed, but I don't know about that. Maybe that was just
Gilliman puts up a good fight against Angron, right? So I mean, if Gilliman can do it, because I've heard there's a lot of Ultramarine smack talking goes around when I'm down with COVID. So,
well, I mean, the Ultramarines just aren't good. I mean, fucking Gilliman got his ass beat by Corfarion. Like, how can you respect such a man?
That's what we intended, man. He saw all the possibilities. He let it play out. Who's next for me? It's tough, I'm gonna go with the Khan next.
Okay.
Khan. Interesting.
So we have not seen the Khan at all yet.
Yeah. So no spoilers for you guys, but reading Scars and Path of Heaven definitely increased my opinion of him. I think it's the most me and Varela have ever agreed on anything was how good those books were.
Very excited for those.
Who's next? I'm looking at like Graham to see if this is like the canon version. I'm gonna put Angron next. I do rate him. I think on his day he can wreck face.
I think Angron to any other battle is a murderer. He would destroy anything. But against the Primarch, I think he's just so predictable.
Yes.
He's just
I feel like most of them can outthink. I won't say most of them because I only have 5 above him. 6.
Yeah.
And they're all people who are smarter than him. Although the Lion is very iffy if he's smarter. But he's someone who I expect to be good at fighting.
I think I'm going to agree with you guys here and put the Lion next. I mean, he's meant to be a good duelist, but he's just tricked a lot. And he just, I would put him higher because I think his skill could match that of anyone, but he just is a bit predictable.
Although there's a short story where Kurz has fucked his ass up. And then a random other short story where the Lion fucked the Kurz up, so it's weird.
The Kurz. Yeah, watch out for the Kurz.
Which book is it? Is it Angels of Caliban? That's sort of a definitive, that's like the main novel where they face off. I can't quite remember how it goes, but I don't remember the line coming out that well. I mean, I think Varela's a big fan of the Dark Angels as well, and
disgusting.
I'm not.
Whoa. Back up.
I respected you for not liking the Ultramarines, but the Dark Angels?
Damn. All right, hold up.
They have some good qualities. They're angels.
Yeah, the ones that have fallen have good qualities.
I do enjoy the Fallen a bit more than I do the Dark Angels, I think.
I mean, at the end of the day, when you got a guy you can literally just point at someone, tell him, make that guy repent, and everybody's going to shit their pants. You got to respect that.
I think one of the better short stories we covered was, is it Call of the Lion? It's and it's a story about a Calibanite Dark Angel and a Terran Dark Angel and how they contrast, which I think is something I personally really like in the series. We had it in Brotherhood of the Storm as well with a Terran White Scar and a Chagorian White Scar. So I do like that dynamic.
Yeah, that was a good short story. I remember covering that one. I like the whole back and forth between the mentality of someone on Caliban, and I liked the idea that later on the Terran soldier, gets sent home back to Caliban for training, and it's just he kind of like gets crapped on by the Lion. Essentially, it's like, yeah, just go back there with the rest of them forever until I don't want to deal with you.
They provide a good contrast because if you think about it, the Terran Astartes are all going to be pretty standardized by the Emperor for the most part through the Unification Wars. So then they provide a really good sort of contrast to sort of see how different each legion is. Except the Night Lords, I think they've always been crazy.
They're all fucking nuts.
Yeah.
The world leaders
Sevatar has my heart.
There is no non-Terran world eaters. Well, they recruit from different worlds, but not from Angron's home planet. Because they're like, yeah, let's not do that.
That place is
probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
So I guess the one thing I want to get out of the way with this ranking, though, is who's the weakest Primarch?
There's only one real
It's
answer.
Lorgar. It is
Lorgar. If it's not Lorgar, you're
put
off
it down
the
to me too.
Yeah, that is another thing me and Varela agree on strongly.
Now it was just
You got it
now,
absolutely.
how do you guys see Lorgar? Do you see him as this like stupid fucking preacher, or do you see him as like a respectable, somewhat battle captain?
I see him as a diplomat, like through and through. There's nothing else to him.
See, I see Gilliman as a diplomat. For Lorgar, I just imagine his big bitch.
I think Gilliman's more like a logistician. Would that be the word? Like someone that deals with a lot of logistics and stuff, Like
right.
He's an empire builder, Gilliman, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's got his own gig. But Lorgar so far is like the only Primarch to probably get under his skin because he loses his shit at the start of the Battle of Calth at that Livocast of Lorgar.
Right.
So I would say, Lorgar, he's got the wordplay, but he can't. He's all bark and no bite.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially pre-chaos.
Yeah, it's I think it's Aaron Dembski-Bowden. It's something I really want to talk to him about if I ever get the chance. It's the one thing he said is he wanted to kill Lorgar and have him die really badly.
That would have been awesome.
ADB is like the number one that we want on this podcast because he's so fucking good at writing.
He's on another level. And if you I think he's going to do the next Siege of Terror book, which is going to be really cool.
I hope so.
When we finally get there, I think Dan Abnett's going to end it. I think that's the only way that makes sense.
I can see that. Yeah, start it, ended it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put Fulgrim next because this is pre-chaos. So on his day, he's actually pretty talented. I think but I think his opponents can get the better of him by playing to his ego. So and I really despise him post chaos. He's just not my cup of tea. We ranked all the legions recently, and it was.
What, you're not into butt plugs?
No, man, it's not quite my scene.
I mean,
you guys just did Angel Exterminatus, didn't you? Recently.
Yeah. We like the Iron Warriors bit and the Iron Hands.
When it comes to Fulgrim's demonhood, I would like you to explain what the fuck he had to do to become like the demon prince or whatever. Like we had Angron, because I know you guys did Betray already.
Yeah.
All you had to do was kill some people, right?
Yeah.
Fucking Fulgrim's was ridiculous. And I want to hear you guys explain what the hell happened there.
I mean, I think I can explain it relatively easily. Like, Slaanesh is the god of excess, like, out of the gate, So you had to do some excessive stuff.
That's what we're for,
the entire world of Eldar souls and whatnot.
So he had to get part of Portarabo's power, though, into a stone.
Yeah,
and then the Anathame that fucking killed Horus, he could just keep getting cut by and the soul shoved into him like it was nothing.
Yeah.
It's there's actually an explanation in the book, because they actually say that you don't actually have to tell the blade to kill someone. Like, you can tell it to just wound someone. Like with Horus, it was like, they gave her like Horus's name, and the Anathame just went like, okay, guess I gotta kill him now.
Right.
But with Fulgrim, I guess they just went like, yeah, just cut him up, and yeah.
There's a lot there. I want to talk about a lot of that there. Maybe we should get through the Primark rankings.
Yeah.
We can go. I guess we are. We've been going for a while. Let's go.
I'll try and rapid fire some off, shall I'm gonna put Gilliman next. He's like one of my favorite Primarchs, and the fact
he lost
he can,
a Corfarion.
Yeah, but then
not even a real Astartes.
I would say he in Betrayer, he holds his own against Angron. I don't care about the Lorgar part because I reckon I could take Lorgar on my day. But the fighting Angron, basically, him going blow for blow with Lorgar and then Angron coming in and Gilliman not dying. For me, but if we were doing different rankings, Gilliman would probably be a lot higher in terms of like, who could turn the tide of the heresy or something. The Ruin Storm is the biggest play of the heresy, I think. Next, I'm gonna go with Dawn. Don't want to spoil anything, but he's actually pretty good at fighting. So,
I mean, we know he's pretty good at building walls. He's been doing it for about 25 books now.
Yeah, I can imagine. You guys going in release orders pretty brave because you sort of have that whole middle section of just stuff.
Oh man, like we just did Mark of Calth, and it's like the worst placed book that I think they could have done because like we've had like so much like Word Eaters or World Eaters. Then we had Ultramarines. We have fucking Word Bears. It's like, dude, I don't want to read about any more of these guys. And then we just get a whole book of just nothing but Word Bears and Ultramarines. Like, God damn it, here we go.
100%. Yeah, it's they do love the Ultramarines. I think they're better in 30k than 40k, obviously, but they do give them a fair share of love in this series as well.
Poster boys.
That's true. So there's no poster boys in 30k. I don't think anyone comes out of 30k looking that good, but unfortunately they do have a 40k reputation hanging over them.
The Salamanders, they look great.
Yeah, I mean there's like 3 of them probably, but for what we've seen of them.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, who have I got left? Let's see. I'm gonna put Mortarion next. I think he's a bit of a dark horse. That's harsh. But why do you say that? Oh, it's even gone red.
It's even highlighted red. I have no idea why it's highlighted red. I mean, though, we've only seen him in Flight of Eisenstein. And in there, he just kind of seems like a bitch. Like even Agaro pretty much is like, I don't really care about you.
You get quite a lot of him later on. We've covered him in a few books now. He's done pretty well for himself, actually. Him and Perturabo is my next one, and him and Perturabo I think have some of the harder falls to justify. So sometimes you kind of have to just look past their falls because I think the Primarchs and which side they were on was literally decided in the 80s at the pub after a day of work. So it's kind of like you get to some of these legions and it's just kind of like, well, why did they? Because Perturabo is just a miserable bloke and no one wants to be his friend.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about that. How Perturabo's story seems like an exact copy of Mortarion's.
Yeah.
And it's just they don't really know. Like, Daddy's mean to me. Okay, I guess I'll kill millions of people.
Yeah, it's it's tough, but I'm kind of more interested in what happens after, because it's inevitable that they're going to fall. So. I'm willing to sort of let that go by. And Angel Exterminator's really upped my appreciation of the Iron Warriors. I think they came out of it looking pretty cool. That was
like our first Iron Warriors book, other than like the short story.
Yeah, they haven't got a lot.
The Warsmith. What was his name?
Dantiok?
Yes, Dantiok. He was a bad motherfucker, and he like changed my mind on Iron Warriors. So this like also helped. Perturabo just seems like he's just a badass. I think Gavin had a super good comparison of it. Have you guys seen Daredevil on Netflix?
I haven't seen him, but I know about him.
I know of him.
So you haven't seen Daredevil on Netflix? No. So there's a character, Wilson Fisk. He's just this like big motherfucker.
Oh, the Kingpin. Yeah.
Yes, Kingpin.
Yeah.
You like compared him to Kingpin, and it's like perfect. Like he's just this badass who's just like he's kind of smarter than everyone else, but like no one like recognizes how good he is. And that's fucking Perturabo to a T.
I mean,
100%. I do know who Kingpin is because of the. I don't want to spoil any other series, but there was another series that he was in recently. And he was pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's a fair summarization. Who we got next?
I'm surprised you don't have Magnus down yet.
Oh,
this is disgusting.
true.
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I'm
What
gonna
the
catch some
hell?
flack for this one. We'll put him in here because I don't think legally I can put him any further down. I think this is gonna come out in red
gosh.
again.
Honestly, because it's disgusted. I don't even know why this is happening. I really don't know why.
See, it's telling me to put him lower. It doesn't want him. Yeah, I mean he's pretty cool. He's almost like too powerful in a way because he's just got like so many powers that no one else has in the
He's also
Primarchs.
very cocky, so I can see it.
Yeah, definitely. Looking at who we've got left, we're gonna have to put Horus down as well because I do think like Horus has the best understanding of all the Primarchs. So I think in terms of actually finding a way to defeat each one, he's going to be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Kerr's next. The guy is just unhinged. I just
He's
put
so
a
much
question
fun to
mark
read
next to
about.
him.
I think like Servitor might be just my favorite character. The entire.
He is definitely my favorite. I mean, the dude is Deadpool of 30K/40K.
Yeah. Yeah, he's especially when you get to like the Imperial Secundus arc and the Angels of Caliban books. He's just like there's some moments in there where you get some characters that are really unchained and they don't even shine a light to Kurz. He's just on another level.
Yeah.
I just realized did Ferrus Manus not even make the list?
He's Manus is there.
Yeah. Manus is there. Graham put him at the bottom. That's not fair.
You
Graham's
put
the
him-
one who killed him.
I know.
Graham's like, this dude sucks.
It's bad.
Like, he's gone. Don't like him at all. I don't know. I'm gonna put Ferrus there because he did pretty well against Fulgrim, who was on his chaos shit. So
Yeah.
we just don't see enough of it. It's really disappointing. I think he's got a Primarch book that I might have to go back and read because I do want to learn more about him because Iron Hands.
I mean, he was, in his mind, considered for War Master, so he must have been at least decent.
All got a massive ego. One of
They
these
all
things is
Or
true.
that.
Yeah. There's a few who probably thought I think Angron thought he should have been War Master, which that is an alternate universe I need to see. They need to do like a what if series after they finish the Horus Heresy and get a book about what happened if Angron became the War Master.
Yeah,
I mean, Angron without the
the
butcher
Angron
nails,
heresy.
right?
No, where's the fun in it? Taking his nails out. Because he'd just be
if
like
you think about him without, like he's probably a totally fucking different person.
exactly.
Yeah, but he puts the butcher nails on every single other Primarch as well. Think about it.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that'd be
That
fucking.
Magnus with some butcher nails.
That's basically Sanguinius if he had the blood rage, right?
Exactly. Yeah, Malkador would just be sitting in the corner crying in this universe.
Son of a bitch, we fucked up so bad.
Yeah, we're
I
in
would be
trouble.
so scared of what Fulgrim does to people with the butcher's nails.
Yeah. I'm sure Graham would be able to describe it in vivid detail.
Too much detail.
I cannot wait to
probably.
have that discussion.
I was home for the holidays, blitzing through Angel Exterminatus, and I do audiobooks, and I just have it out while I was doing some housework or something, and my parents would walk by, and I'd just get a weird look, I'd just get stared at.
Hey, at least it wasn't Reflection Cracked, because Reflection Cracked, there was some like butt plugs going on. I'm like, oh this is weird.
It's a bit of a running joke in our Discord. It's kind of weird because we read the Reflection Crack short story, and in that short story, Fulgrim gets tortured. And someone was asking, he kept asking us, are you guys done? Are you guys done? And finally, when I finished, he goes, what did you think about the butt plug scene? I said, what are you talking about, the butt plug scene? He's like, yeah, reread this page. So I went back, I was like, oh my God, there's a Fulgrim butt plug.
Who wrote it? Did Graham write it?
McNeil.
It was Graham.
Oh my God.
When we interviewed Graham, like when he did like the orchestra sing, like I asked him, I was like, so did when you did that scene, like your editor like look at you and be like, Graham, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, I actually had to cut some parts out. And I was like, I can't imagine what it was like uncut.
That's mad. He came up with Homunculabra as well back in the day, which is like meant to be, which is how they made the Chaos Space Marines. Which I think we had a Q&A section of our episode with him, and I didn't know what it was, so just to make sure I knew what I was talking about, I googled it, and I wish I hadn't.
Your life, huh?
Google, you wish you could have gotten back.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, you got two more here, or three more.
Who have I got left?
We have Alfarius left.
Vulcan and Corax.
Wait, how is Vulcan not in yet? Hold up.
This is tough.
know,
this is
right?
tough, man. Wait until you have to do it. Wait until it's your
I'm gonna turn this whole list upside down, man.
Whoa. I'm looking at that bottom line. I'm getting concerned when you say that. Let's,
and then you look at Graham's like, Manus?
Yeah, man. We're gonna go Corax, then Vulcan, then Alfarius.
Can't believe you did my boy Vulcan dirty like that. That is rough.
Well, we have a running joke about because I misread that the Iron Hands had 10,000 Terminators on Istvan 5, where I think it's 1,000, but it's for 10,000 Morlocks. And I hold Vulcan personally responsible because he was the main advocate for retreating. Who knows what would have happened if they hadn't pressed the attack? Then it'd be a different, but Vulcan wanted to run back to Perturabo, and look how that worked out for him.
Well, I mean, they also put Manus in charge, so how can you respect any of them?
He was he was balls to the wall.
Like, fuck it, let's just kill them all.
Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like regardless of what they did there, they were probably going to die. I don't know if there's a sound tactical reasoning to being shot at from all corners.
Exactly. Yeah, I think
it's a target-rich environment, man.
That's true.
All you gotta know.
I think the flank where Vulcan's on as well is well. I have my problems with Istvan 5 because as every author writes it, characters just teleport around this massive battlefield.
Yeah, so like Conrad Kurz is all over the place.
Angron shows up next to the Death Guard, even though they're on the polar opposite flanks of each other. I'm just like, Angron, how did you get here? That's
also,
a
like, every author for like every fucking battle scene, like when it's against like a Traitor Legion or whatever, like it's so different. Like in Betrayer, the fucking Worlders are just like decimating the fucking Ultramarines. We're like, man, the Ultramarines should be just like outflanking them and like doing everything perfect compared to like what the Worlders are doing. Like they're just running and like they should be just dying.
Yeah. I mean, what are you going to do when they start surfing land speeders and rhinos, dude, to get to that? Can you imagine being that Imperator Titan crew? Be like, Princeps, they're surfing tanks. What do we do?
Shoot them off of it. I don't know.
Shoot them or something. But
yeah, the whole Istvan thing.
I feel like this is a tough exercise,
It is.
No one's a winner.
Well,
maybe. Varela, what do you got?
Yeah.
Oof. I'm gonna come out swinging. Give it a second. I don't know what that was about. So I'm just gonna put the con in first, straight up.
Ooh, the con number one. That's there's this different.
One meeting where it's just a con, Fulgrim, Mortarion, and Sanguinius.
Yeah.
And Fulgrim and Mortarion are like, yeah, I'd beat the shit out of all of you. And then the con goes like, no, you wouldn't. I'd beat the shit out of both of you. Maybe not Mortarion. And then Sanguinius is just like, oh, well, shit, he seems serious. If Sanguinius says he's serious,
And then the Khan wonders why he doesn't have any friends.
He doesn't need no friends, dude.
Every time I think of the Khan, I just think of like South Park with the Mongolians. And we have like the one what's it called? Like something Chak. And the Chinese guy's like, goddamn Mongolians always destroy my shade wall. And that's all I can think about the entire time I think of the Khan.
But he's just a badass, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's got his entire legion on jet bikes, and he's just on foot, and somehow he still gets to wherever the fuck they're attacking first,
Oh,
fast.
That's
the scene, though. That's the scene where I'm pretty sure Fulgrim looks at him and goes, I heard you like to do strange things to your ships. And the Khan goes, I heard you like to do strange things to your warriors.
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
That hit hard.
Plugs, for sure.
Yeah, up next... Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted, but I guess I gotta go with Leman Russ. Leman Russ is probably up there. Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, it's just Leman Russ, He just kills Primarchs as a hobby at this point. Yeah, even though he doesn't actually get to kill them. Usually, he just kind of memes them very badly and then fucks off. But he tries. He does his best.
It's tough to get through that plot armor, man.
True.
That's rough. Yeah,
especially depending on the rider.
All right. Next, we got Sanguinius.
Makes sense.
respectable.
Golden boy. He holds a sword well. He swings it. I haven't actually read that much about him. I just know he's really good at it. So there's that. And then I guess the guy that one shot a Eldar Titan, as in Magnus. You just kind of, if he can one shot an Eldar Titan, like what can he not do?
I mean, that Titan also, I'm pretty sure it fucked him up in Thousand Suns, right? And he got protected by one of his captains.
With the tight shields.
It wasn't like the Titan fucked him up. It was like he drained himself to fuck up the Titan. But like in a 1v1, it doesn't really matter because if he can one shot the other guy, it doesn't matter if he's drained after. He's just gonna, the other guy's already dead.
Look, he's a one shot, one kill, and that's it. All right.
Yeah, he's a glass cannon, man. He's straight up a glass cannon, dude. But yeah, now I'm kind of getting conflicted here. This is
where it gets hard.
You've had all this time to think.
That's true. I've been stalling for you, buddy. Let's see what you got.
I'm gonna go really controversial here, and I'm gonna say Kurz.
I like it.
I can see it. I can see why you do it.
Yeah, Kurz is like, he's really strong, like as a baseline, but then since he's completely unhinged, nobody ever knows what he's gonna do, So it's just like, it's just out there. And then Korax, which is the guy I'm gonna put next, is Kurz, but without the unhinged part. Like, it's just what it is, man.
Yeah, but then you have like moments in Deliverance Lost, right, where he's kind of an idiot.
Well, he can be an idiot and still kick ass,
It's true. The lion.
That's that is the lion, but I can't imagine him losing to the lion or Angron.
Okay, look, he beats Lorgar to a pulp. All right,
it's a low bar, buddy. It's a low bar.
That is a low bar.
Yeah.
No. But
everyone does that.
I know, but like it's just he just kind of walked in and did it, man. Like it wasn't like he broke a sweat like some others. Like Lorgar managed to break Leman Russ and Magnus apart once, So there's something there.
Lorgar also slapped Malkador one time, and Malkador kind of just. It tickled him.
Yeah, he didn't die. He's a fucking human and didn't die. And he's like, all right.
Malkador, man. Like, you don't know. He's got like some psychic dampeners or some shit,
He's built different.
Yeah, built different.
Built different.
Oh, man. Who next? I guess Angron? Angron's pretty strong. Like,
it's pretty strong.
Oh, there was a question. Angron's pretty strong, right? I'm pretty sure.
He's probably killed some things, right?
Yeah, he almost got stomped by a Titan, but he managed to stop it for a bit.
That's pretty impressive, honestly. I mean, the Titans are
pretty
heavy.
Not bad, All right. What next?
I can't believe Mortarion's still red. I don't know why that's red, but then it's hilarious.
Oh, let's see if it stays red. Let's put Mortarion in there.
I hope it's red. That's disgusting.
Dude, he's not necessarily.
I don't know why he's not red there.
He's not necessarily a good fighter. It's just that he can take so much punishment. Like.
I mean, we will say he is disgustingly resilient.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, just him being able to take that much punishment is like such a big advantage. Because like the Khan, I'll just say that he 1v1s, right? And the Khan actually comes out of it. First off, exhausted, and then with some scrapes, like he's actually wounded and whatnot, simply because Mortarion wouldn't move, like you just keep hacking at him and nothing would really happen. So
that's the whole legion, right? Their whole thing's attrition.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can keep chipping away at him, but fact is he's gonna, like, whenever he chops, he's gonna take a big chunk. But yeah, who else? I guess Horus. Am I missing someone? Hold up. Let me look at your list.
No
your
backsies.
No.
I'm kind of interested that everyone except for me has Horus so low, because in my mind, like Horus, he should be the ultimate like tactician.
Well,
granted, he got the position because of his charisma with everyone.
Right. Horus,
but he should also be like he's the best, right? That's supposed to be like his whole thing. Like he's the best of the best. But I also don't see him as the best. Obviously, because I'm 6.
Yeah, for sure. Like
he's an interesting character that we don't get enough of, in my opinion, at least so far, because we're 26 books in, right, Gavin?
Something like that. I don't keep track anymore. I just kind of keep.
Oh yeah, I mean, after like the first really 3. You don't really see the little wolf / horns. Not Horns of Harris.
Horns of Harris.
Sons of Horus. The Sons of Horus. Like, you don't really see them other than like short stories for like glimpses. It's interesting how supposedly the leader and the best of the best isn't like top tier every time.
That's fair.
All right, but we'll go with Horus for now. You know, for everything that's already been said, because you know he's Horus.
Oh, he's also red for you.
Oh.
I don't know why, but he's red.
And yeah, next up. Okay, let's put Vulcan in. I was thinking about something else, but this is gonna be after it. You know,
Thank you.
He literally can't die. Like, can't do much about that. Maybe stab him with the anatheme. Maybe that'll do something. You know, or throw him into the reactor of a literal battle moon.
Yeah, but who knows?
But even then, you're not sure. You know, it might have happened.
Perpetuals are so interesting because like it feels like random things and like kill them, but you don't really know what that random thing's gonna be.
Yeah. And in the case of Vulcan, you're still not sure. Like, it could have killed him, but it might not have. You know.
I think the Perpetuals are some of the most interesting characters in the Heresy. You know.
Absolutely.
I agree. Like
Absolutely.
John Grammaticus is one of my favorite characters because
Definitely.
just because like I don't know what the fuck is it doing, but I love it.
Yeah, neither does he. He
bouncing
doesn't
around.
even know.
He's just chilling, you know.
All Pearson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
look at
next,
some old person.
I
Next
think
up-
I think he's a dark horse. Sorry, I think Ol's going to be a dark horse. You know.
And,
it's time to really turn this list around though, because I'm gonna put Ferris Manus next,
I like that though.
and I'm gonna explain why as well.
Fulgrim.
Yeah,
there's-
Fulgrim. You can put Fulgrim next because Ferris Manus actually beats him in Istvan 5, but he hesitates, and then Fulgrim goes like, "I have a demon sword," and that's what kills Ferris
I like
Manus.
that.
Fulgrim was about to die, and then Manus is like, "Shit, this is like my brother. I really like this guy. Do I really want to do it?" And he like hesitates for like that split second that takes any Primarch to react. And Fulgrim in the meantime has got a demon sword, literally taking control of his body essentially. And you know, if it wasn't for that sword, and if it wasn't for Ferris Manus hesitating, Fulgrim would be dead, not Ferris Manus. You know.
Yeah, Fulgrim got that performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of them.
Yeah.
He's got them stims.
He's got a
dude,
whole
you know?
lot of things going on.
Then yeah, I think Fulgrim just explains himself. You know, like at the end of the day, he did beat Manus, but not through martial skill. Even though he is really good as any other Primarch, other than Lorgar. Yeah.
Various Dorn, Vulcan, the Lion, Gilliman.
Oh.
I swear to God, man, if Gilliman's second from the bottom, you're on something.
I mean,
I have him third from the bottom.
I wasn't going to, but
You lost the
now
core
I might.
Farion.
I'm very surprised you don't have Portarabo up there yet.
I mean, is Perturabo a good fighter? Like, I haven't really read anything about him
Angel
fighting.
Exterminatus the first time you guys experienced him.
Hmm.
I mean, even then, like, he's such a fucking badass, right? I mean, he fucking like broke Fulgrim's face
That's true.
just because he was he was like, dude, you're a fucking idiot.
Great scene. Phenomenal scene.
It reminded me like have you guys at least seen The Dark Knight?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, it reminds me of kind of like that, where like he's like, you guys are just fucking idiots. He just fucking smashes his face down on the fucking deck, and he's like,
That's right.
you're a moron.
He also looks a load of Iron Hands in the eye, whilst letting them live, but then is showing them that he's got their dead dad's weapon, and puts it on his back. He's like, I'm not even going to give it back to you. Just walks off. What a champion.
You also ruined a perfectly good Warhound model, man. Like, how expensive is that?
I mean, it's gotta be
£350.
Damn.
Yeah, that's some expensive stuff.
Can't forgive that kind of resin.
I think he gets a $4 discount there.
Alright, but you know what? Yeah, let's put Perturabo up next. Simply out of spite for the banana voice.
He does this deliberately.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's correct. We'll change it around.
Yeah, I guess Dorn next. Like,
I mean, I guess Thorn's okay, right?
yeah, Dorn's just
Very
okay.
okay.
Yeah, like he manages to do some funky stuff to another Primarch. He takes a few years to build a fortification. Rob would probably get it in like 2 days, man. Like, let's be real.
Man, you're gonna have someone in our Discord he's just shaking his fist right now. How fucking dare you shit talk Rogodor?
It's just that like hacker meme where it's just sending me my coordinates and whatnot. But yeah, I guess Alfarius next. So long as he can't gang up, along with Omegon, you know.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, I mean, Omegon and Alferis are the same, right? So I would assume it's always a 2v1.
Wait, there's more than one?
Dude, we're all Alferis. What do you mean?
There's like 17 at least. In your house, probably.
The 2 unknown Primarchs? Alfarius. Straight up.
The Emperor? Alfarius.
Probably. Alright, and all I'm missing is the Lion and Gilliman, isn't it?
Oh, the Lion is very low. Interesting.
I like the Dark Angels, but I don't like the Lion.
He is shit. So, what's your order here?
You're more of a Luther man, right?
Yeah.
Luther is more respectable.
Like, I guess I'm gonna have to put Gilliman above the Lion.
Modicum of respect back from me.
Because like the Gilliman is just the Lion, but better. Is what I feel.
Every time I talk about the Lion, I can't help but put the word "the" in front of every other person I'm talking about, like the Gilliman, the Luther, and it perpetuates. And I've talked about the Angron before.
We've told the Luther so many times.
Damn, the one and only.
I love that the Lion is second to last. That's gonna make so many people mad, but I totally understand. He basically. Hey, Porterabo, you seem trustworthy. Here's a bunch of siege equipment.
But also, Porterabo, please vote for me for next War Master.
Yeah. He's like, oh, we got a massive civil war where it's all going to culminate in a massive siege. Should I keep these weapons so I can, like, store them inside the fortress? Or should I give them to a person I'm not sure about the loyalties? And who's really good at sieging stuff. Like,
you're totally loyal, right?
You're loyal, right? Yeah, okay, have these. Just take them.
Hey, Gilman, it's really nice to see you, man. It's been a while. By the way, Kurz is up there somewhere. Don't know where he's at, but he's running around. That was great. So I really want to talk to you guys about Angel Exterminatus, because that was a book you just kind of went over, and I was listening to a little bit of your guys' podcast over that, and I want to know what your ideology with Graham is and the way he just loves describing his Slanesh situations.
He's just like...
Someone's got to do it, you know? Someone's got to do it.
He's just like the least... You just wouldn't expect it from him, though. He's just this quiet Scottish guy, very well spoken, and then you read his work, and he's like... I think he just takes it all out on the pages, you know.
Graham, are you a sexual deviant?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Because when we had him on, he was just very reserved, like really nice answering all the questions. Like you would never expect this man.
No cussing, very well spoken. He didn't even drink booze with us. He drank coffee.
Yeah,
he had the Ultramarines in the background.
That's right.
I mean, think about it. The quiet kid in the class is only going to be doing like one of two things. Either he's like doodling or something, or he's writing fanfic, you know?
Look, he's either murdering all the people, or he's raping them. That's
So the other question that I had, and maybe it's something that will get explained later on in the heresy, but it's something that really bugs me. Have you guys read Market Calth?
I haven't, I don't think.
I've done I just did I only did the one where it's like the simulation at the end, it turns out. And like Ventanus has been I only did that one, and it was okay. So
what is the deal with the anatheme and the fact that it's everywhere?
Is it the same knife though? Is it? Do you know it's the same knife? So Fabius Bile, he takes the sword down. It's a sword when he has. That's right. And he says, "Oh, sword was used to kill a Primarch." Yeah. So okay, well that's got to be the sword. And then you have Erebus at the beginning of Market Calth break the sword up into multiple knives, and gives it to other word bearers. Like, what is going on here? And then every word bearer has an anatheme. Yeah. And
that was a big sword.
Exactly. So I just like very curious as to if you guys have seen like the answer to this impossible anatheme question and how it's ending up in everyone's hands.
Also, is it the anatheme that killed Argal Tall in Betrayer?
I don't think it's actually an anatheme though. I don't think it's the same sword, because what you guys know that one book where it's a bunch of shattered legionnaires just chasing around a word bearer that's trying to like enact this grand ritual to attract the attention of Erebus and whatnot.
That's
I don't remember what the name
Lips.
of the book is.
Vulcan Lips?
Yeah, I think it's Vulcan. Is it?
We're starting Vulcan Lives right now.
Okay, I won't spoil it, but like the word bearer doesn't have the anatheme. He has an theme, you know.
It's two. Like, one of them's the anatheme, and one of them's the
It's just a theme. It's just a theme.
Oh, okay.
A theme or anatheme, like. So I guess it's not necessarily like the anatheme. It's just like a ritualistic kind of knife, you know.
Because I could definitely see at the very end in the last Siege of Terra novel that coming up again, and I'm just like, I don't even know which one this is. Just like, is this important? Maybe, maybe not.
Oh yeah. I think there are some interesting theories. I think there's a pretty solid theory now about because there's going to be something. I don't think they just do verbatim what's already in the lore. I think what it'll be is what they'll say is what we've had before is the imperial propaganda truth.
Oh, I like that.
This is what actually happened, and I think the perpetuals are going to play a big part. Alpharius will probably turn up. You'll be like, you thought this was a Horus versus the Emperor novel? No, it's an Alpha Legion novel.
And when you think about it, I mean, it's the victor that writes history, right?
Yep. Yeah. It'll be Gilliman. It's Gilliman.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Alpharius is on the fucking...
definitely not Gilliman.
On the...
No. It's
on
Gilliman's
the Golden Throne
version
anyway.
Of events. Yeah.
Everybody's like, the Emperor got enraged when Immortal ran at Horus and died. And it's just gonna be Dorn with like his hand outstretched, and that's why you find like the Dorn's hand in the Vengeful Spirit.
Oh no.
That's gonna be I'm very excited for that. And there's a lot of people that I think are gonna be really upset if they change it, but I kind of want them to, because right now what kind of sucks about the novels is the fact that you know how it ends, you know.
Yeah.
And I want a little bit of thrill.
40K.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys think you're going to make it in time for the end? Because we're trying to like time it to get the last book sort of, so we don't have this big gap. But you're covering everything, right?
Yeah, I mean we do. So we do a preview every week, and like the next week we do the review. So we should be fine.
Yeah,
we've got like
half the time, like our preview, we're not even finished at this point.
We have another year to finish the Heresy. And then we have the Siege of Terra novel. So I think that by the time the last book gets released, because they have how many left? 3?
They have two. There's 2 left.
Yeah,
it's kind of close.
Yeah, I reckon we'll get the second to last one towards the end of the year, and I reckon we'll get the final one sometime next year.
I just hope ADB does one of them, and then Dan Abnett does the other.
Have you seen those screenshots from ADB's Twitter? It's him and Dan doing like 5 a.m. Skype meetings about Warhammer.
Man, I have
I'm
not,
like,
but
please let me in.
Dude, that'd make the perfect ending to have ADB and fucking Dan Abnett. Like those are definitely the 2 best. Like we love Graham, and Graham held we had Fulgrim as our number 1 book the entire time until Betrayer.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, that was like 23 books, I think. 24. And like, I mean, he's a great writer, and that was like the first book like I've ever had to like sit down, like especially like after the fucking the orchestras, and like I sat it down because I was like, I am too overwhelmed with emotions right now to like comprehend anything more. So like, I've never felt that in a book before. So like that was like such like a stepping stone. But man, ADB's fucking his writing is beautiful. Like I know like people like love Horus Rising. I don't really get it because like in my opinion, the only flaw with Dan Abnett is that he introduces too many characters at once. And it's almost like too much. I'm like, man, I don't care about half these fucking people because I don't remember what the hell they did.
Yeah. Have you done Unremembered Empire yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. I think that's a really good one.
3 books away.
Because I don't think he doesn't really add too many people there, and it's kind of this all favorites cast, and it's
He
quite
kind of
like
gets the short stick with that sometimes, though. Like when he did No Fear, and that was like 40 people. There was 40 people in that book, but it was amazingly written. It was like a war journal.
Yeah. It was unlike as I do it in audiobooks as well. It was like watching up until the actual mark starts. It was like watching a series of 24 backwards. You know, it was like everything, all the coming down to this trigger point, and it was just it was something different, that book. I think it's the only one I've gone back and listened to in completion just because I wanted to and not because I needed to so I knew what I was talking about for the podcast.
So we were talking about some different ways we thought the heresy could actually end compared to what has been written in the literature, and basically the literature previously was just the editions releasing for the tabletop and the story that comes with that. I have heard the theory that it is Horus on the Golden Throne.
Yeah, I've heard that. That'd be very. I'd love if they did it. I don't know if they've got the balls to do it.
It would be ballsy. Could you imagine the whole time the Imperium praying to Horus and not even knowing about it?
Yeah. So what's the idea? How would that work?
I think the concept is at the very end, after the death of certain characters, right? I guess we're kind of already at the spoiler. At the death of Sanguinius, right? You kind of have this moment where it's like Horus actually seeks forgiveness. And the Emperor has to sacrifice himself in some way, and Horus is the one that entombs himself on the Golden Throne to make sure things don't go bad.
Yeah,
that's ballsy.
I mean, that would make sense on why Gilliman went he spoke
to the
like the Emperor, but he didn't sound like the Emperor, if you know what I mean. Like, he wasn't like as cryptic or anything. He was like very direct, and he attributed it to the Emperor's soul being absolutely broken. But what if the Emperor's soul is broken, but the soul that's sitting there isn't actually the Emperor? Could always be that. And then we'd have the whole thing. Maybe it wasn't Magnus that was meant to sit on the Golden Throne, you know?
Oh man, that would. I'm very excited. I didn't even think about the possibility of actually ending it in a different way. So that makes me a lot more excited to kind of read it and see where it goes. Because like we kind of talked about the perpetuals. That's not something that was mentioned in any of the novels. We talk about how in the rule sets. They kind of talk about that unnamed soldier sacrificing himself to save the Emperor. It's like, who is that and what actually happened there? I don't know. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. I'd love if they. I think my gut says they're gonna do something different. I think one of my favorites is it's maybe it would be very dramatic still, but they just change the order that things potentially happen in. Like, I would love it if Sanguinius in the Black Rage beats Horus, but then is just so encompassed in that rage that the Emperor has to put him down. Because that would just like hit on an emotional level. I don't think I'd be ready for that. I'd probably need to lie down.
That's crazy. That would be pretty nuts.
Because I just watched Angels of Death. I don't know if you've seen that from Warhammer Plus. The series, it's pretty good, but it gives, it's the first sort of visualization of the Black Rage, and it's sort of like everyone turning into Horus and this giant lumbering figure, and it'd be like if the Blood Angels' whole history was a lie. I love things not going well for the good guys. I love big twists, so anything would be a massive plus.
Yeah, one of the things.
I love the idea of Warhammer Plus, but how to execute it was dog shit.
Yeah, for sure. I got hooked up with a login. I haven't actually.
There we
go.
I'm
trying to get Gavin to do it.
It's I think like maybe in 2 years' time when there's a massive backlog of but you could do everything in a day. You could watch everything in a day still, and it's been out for ages.
Did you guys ever play League of Legends?
Occasionally.
Okay, so did you watch Arcane on Netflix?
I did. Arcane was really good.
super fucking good.
Yeah.
Why Games Workshop did not think to do the same thing is fucking beyond me.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Because the thing of the Horus, especially like the Horus Heresy, like it could be done so well. Like even like the original trilogy, like if you just did it in like a short like animated series, you could get so many more people involved in it. The tabletop, the books, whatever. Instead, like we talked about this in our Christmas special, like instead they made a fucking subscription service only to people that know about Games Workshop.
Yeah, it was a massive faux pas to take Astartes off YouTube. Not that it's off YouTube, but
not that it is at all.
The original.
Mission failed. We'll get them next
just,
time.
just put it up on your own YouTube channel, But
yeah, I put it on fine.
Do you guys play Horus Heresy, or do you play 40K?
We play 40K.
Yeah.
Do both of you guys play Horus Heresy?
We don't play. We haven't even played yet because I'm waiting for 2.0. 2.0. I don't know if you follow the rumor mill.
Oh yeah, the rumor mill is a rumor mill. You might be waiting a long time.
I am waiting so hard for World Eaters for 40K that it's like all I want to do for my next army is World Eaters.
So literally like 10 minutes before we started recording, they've done the schedule. There's going to be a live stream for Las Vegas Open, which is apparently chock full of stuff. Fingers crossed, the Horus Heresy's in there. I reckon. But it's at 6 a.m. for me. I got to get up at 6 a.m. to watch.
So
this.
do you guys both play 40K tabletop?
No.
I just play.
Yeah.
All I have right now is like 7 Skatari that aren't even on their bases, completely gray, and I still have to assemble 3 more.
It's a frustrating hobby because it's so damn expensive.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
It kills me, and that's just kind of Games Workshop being Games Workshop. I really hope that the Horus Heresy becomes a bigger game because right now they're spending too much time on rules updates for the 40K. It's like every single day there's some sort of rule update, and I would love to just have a new game system to go to. And we've thought about doing some Age of Sigmar, but I don't know. We still have so much to paint and put together.
Yeah, I mean, we still have fucking Death Guard to put together. Like we gave a friend that never put them together, so like, well, fuck, I guess we'll build the Death Guard army.
Oh, nice.
Just make a demon army. You can play in both ones that way.
So Gavin has Tau and Thousand Suns, and I have Grey Knights. So I'm in charge of putting the Death Guard together, but he forgot to leave them here.
I did.
You must be pretty excited with the. You must be looking forward to the Tau update, or it's out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. The Tau were my first army, and I'm kind of just ready to move past them and play something else. So I'm ready to get my Thousand Suns painted. I have Magnus. He's cool. I'm very nervous about painting them because I've got no skills. Yeah.
It's appealed to me since we started the podcast, but it's like we started the podcast. When did we start? Like March.
It was like it was like a year and like 2 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
No, wait.
I think it was March 2021. I always get
something like that. Around the year.
And it was like and it was basically like lockdown happened, and like so many people, I just got back into like Games Workshop stuff because I just had a load. When I was a kid, I used to play 40K, so I just had a load of unpainted, unbuilt stuff. So I just bought some paints, and then we'd always had an idea to do a podcast. We just never really knew what to do it on, and then
we know.
they do, yeah. And now we do. And then literally like 2 months after, maybe a couple of months after we started the podcast, the box set leaks dropped, like the pictures of all the B-keys for the Horus Heresy.
And then the whole year went by. And
exactly. So I was like, well, I'll just wait for that. I'll wait for that. And I'm still waiting for that. So I might start Custodes. If nothing comes out at LVO, Custodes are actually my favorite faction. So
and they're cheap too. I mean, they're not necessarily cheap per model, but there's so many points that at the end of the day you have to buy less. So that's always a good thing.
It's just all the stuff you need though that you have to buy. So I saw, I won't name drop them. I don't want to get in trouble. But that tweet went like pseudo viral through like UK hobby Twitter the other day. But someone had bought the new Custodes Codex, and within 6 days the points in it were out of date.
Oh yeah, the new chapter approved has changed all of them.
Now, I will say the one thing they did, Games Workshop is a very terrible company in my opinion, but they they did an evil thing by releasing the points updates and making you pay $40 for them, which is terrible. I don't know what that.
And they cut out the core rules too.
Yeah, I don't know how that attributes to pounds, but they did say, well, man, we just released Custody, so we'll give you those point updates for free.
So that being free was just a nice gesture. Like usually you'd have to pay for it.
Yeah, normally you'd have to pay for it. It's terrible. That's the thing.
How many books do you have for Tau? Do you have 2 or 3?
Well, right now, in order for me to play the Tau, I have to have the core rule book, the Tau Codex, the Tau Supplement Codex, and then the chapter approved book with all the actual missions in it. So, and all that probably added up to a bit over $100 just for the rules.
Jeez.
And what's really frustrating about that is, yeah, that's what I have to have in order to know how to play the game and my army. That gives me no insight whatsoever to how my opponent's army plays.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it? That's sort of it for me, and that's kind of like why I'm clinging to this like new edition of Horus Heresy Hope, because it's like even if I wanted to play Horus Heresy now, I pretend that the leaks aren't out there. I still need the red rulebook for that. And then whatever army list you need, that's another book. Then like, let's say I wanted to play Custodes even to keep it cheaper. I then have to get the black book, the Prospero black book, which is like another whatever. So it's like, I'm kind of hoping we get a new edition of the Horus Heresy so I can just get in at the ground floor, and then the upfront cost is not as much, which would be
so
nice.
What got you guys into Warhammer?
Way back in the day when I was a kid, I went in for the Lord of the Rings stuff because I was a big Lord of the Rings fan of the films as a kid. And then I was just sort of like, I was that kid that like my parents would go into town and my parents would just leave me at Games Workshop for like 3 hours while they went shopping. So like,
Gavin knows all about that, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So like the guys in the shop I'd usually like buy something at the end to say thank you, but they would just like test, they'd always do taster games of whatever system. So inevitably they were practicing with me to make sure they knew how to do the taster games of 40K. And I was like, okay, well, this is also pretty cool. And them being Games Workshop employees, I had a big crate of stuff to give to my parents when they came back. The employees were probably like, if they're going to leave this kid in our store for hours, we'll get in so Assault on Black Reach and then like a Land Raider and all that.
Awesome.
Which is pretty cool.
I guess like thinking about that though, like your parents leave you in the store to go shopping. In England, England's about the size of our state, right? So
yeah, I imagine
if my mom like left me at a store to go shopping, she would drive like an hour and a half to go shopping somewhere.
Oh wow. Okay.
So a little bit different, but yeah, I think that's super interesting. I'm sure the Games Workshop stores in England are a lot more interesting than they are in the United States, because a lot of times what we have is local game stores that aren't GW stores, and that's where we do all of our playing. GW stores in the United States don't promote playing in the States.
Interesting.
Yeah, because they're
the closest one to me is like 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm. There's not as many. Yeah.
And it's like a rich neighborhood.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
No,
who's else is gonna buy $70 models?
Yeah.
That too.
We have one in like every city at least, and then a lot of towns have them as well. But they're
not
all
even
like
close.
They've stripped them down to like a well-oiled machine. So almost all of them, except like ones in Manchester and London and stuff, are basically just one person who does everything. So they buy a smaller lot, and then they just have like maybe 1 or 2 tables, and then one guy can just do everything basically. Which is a bit different to how it was when I was a kid. I think there used to be like 3 or 4 staff there, and all these big like tables and everything. But I did it. I got really into it, and I don't really remember the rules or anything. I just sort of used to turn up with my army, and then like one of the old, because I'd only be like 11. So then like one of the older players would just be like, okay, now do this. And I'd be like, now I'm going to charge you with my Terminators. And then, after some guys whispered in my ear.
Oh yeah.
I went to like a couple of the games days, which are now Warhammer Fest as well, which was super cool.
Right.
Have you guys been to Warhammer World? That's what it's called, right?
We're planning it. It's happening.
That'd be
in
so fucking cool.
in April, hopefully. Yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. That should be fun.
Excited. I know. So now we know why Varela and Singh they're not drinking. They're saving their money.
Basically.
So
Can't spend it on that alcohol, man.
Yeah.
So Varela, I know you're in university for computer programming. Singh, what are you in there for?
I do a master's in intelligence and security.
Oh,
This guy's
interesting.
going crazy.
Yeah, so
going on.
So Gavin and I are both computer science. That's what we went to school for. It was a
interesting.
bachelor's.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm in for my master's now. So I did my
disgusting.
I did my I did my undergraduate in military history. So
that is so cool.
Yeah, that's way cooler.
it's really cool and
It's at least way more interesting.
Way more interesting and a lot less employable. So
makes sense a little bit.
So
now you got super into the heresy, and you're like, that's a terrible tactic.
Exactly.
Why would they just go into Isfahan and charge with all of their troops instead of waiting for reinforcements?
No wonder Ferris Menace is a fucking idiot.
That's why I have a lot more appreciation for Gilliman than most, I think, because
disgusting.
I understand what it takes to run a proper military operation, and so does he.
Gilliman does think things through until he doesn't.
So randomly, if you were one of the which Primark would you change? Like, which decision of that they made would you change?
Oof. Have you got one, Varela?
I'm thinking about the lion, but there's too many.
Every single decision he's ever made.
just 180 the lion, man. Just 180 him.
So, like me personally, mine would be Magnus and his decision not to tell the Emperor immediately at Nicaea that he had a vision of Horus betraying.
Yeah, it's understandable.
Me and Varela are directly opposed about Magnus and whether he did anything wrong. So
he did everything wrong.
Yeah,
no, it's false. I'll die on this hill.
All right, I'm curious. Like, why do you think he did nothing wrong?
1,000 Suns.
Because if you actually boil it down, Isfahan 3, Garrow escaping. Luckily, he gets away. If he doesn't get away, Isfahan 3 is completely under the radar. And Horus could be at terror before anyone realizes what's going on. Therefore, let's say so my thing I always say is if the Death Guard's gunners had better aim, Magnus would be the only warning that anything was going on.
That is assuming, though, that the Emperor didn't already know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he's supposedly all-knowing, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a whole other level, though, isn't it? You know.
I think, just like what Dylan said there was, I had this crazy vision at Nicaea where Dad's already at, hey, Dad, this happened. And then the Emperor says, I know, don't worry about warning me, too, because that'll mess a whole bunch of stuff up.
Also, did you read Outcast Dead?
Ooh, it's on our list. We have a list of all the novels. We've got, I think it's 9 seasons.
You should skip it because it's fucking bad.
Oh, really?
Oh, damn.
It's bad.
Is it Battle for the Abyss bad?
I liked Battle for the Abyss.
How dare you?
Oh, really?
So this is like worse than Descent of Angels bad.
I don't know. I mean, which one was Descent? Is Descent of Angels the second or the first Dark Angels?
The first Dark
That's
Angels.
the first one. I mean, I liked that one.
We came to a conclusion that the first one was only good after we read the second one.
That's exactly what we said.
So if you only read the first one alone, it was bad, right? So this is worse than that. So the problem is,
it really messes up the timeline. Actually,
it messes the timeline, and it also like kind of puts in perspective like how much damage Magnus did.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it does talk about that a lot. One thing, the timeline thing is really interesting because you do have the situation where Magnus warns the Emperor and you get that view from Terra. The problem with this is I'm trying to remember the order of events in the book because Magnus comes, but he basically warns them after Horus had betrayed them. And then they sent Leman Russ to go get Magnus, which doesn't make a lot of sense because Magnus warned the Emperor after
Gavin, right?
Gavin,
Yeah.
Gavin. Yeah. So there was a big timeline gap there, and in my mind, it made a lot of the decision making in that book weird. Because why would Malkador send Lehman Russ after Magnus if he knew that Horus is a problem? I would have preferred instead to bring Magnus back and jail him, to send your Emperor's Executioner after the dude that's staging a full scale rebellion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Like, they didn't actually want Lehman Russ to just go, completely bananas on Magnus. They wanted him to bring him back. So there's that whole side to it, I guess, where he wasn't meant to destroy the Thousand Suns, but he does because he's butthurt,
Oh, that's not true.
Come on.
I mean, you also have that moment in Prospero Burns where he talks to Caspar Hauser as if he's possessed by a Thousand Suns spy. And he's like, look, Magnus, I need you to forfeit, because if you don't, I have to kill you, and I do not want to do that.
But it turns out that
didn't have to kill him. You didn't really have to kill him, and then there's the whole question of why you're not really. You think this guy is possessed by a Thousand Suns Legionnaire, right? But you're not sure. So why not just get into system, right? And then actually send some comms out,
It turns out they're all
sense in that kind of
they're
thing.
all Alpha Legion anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's Alfarius. Let's be real.
Yeah, I thought that Lehman Russ was trying to warn Magnus multiple times, but Magnus was just in his room pouting, so he decided to just
pout for a while.
Yeah, that's another thing that Magnus did wrong, to be fair.
He pouted.
Yeah, we'll give you that. He did get really salty and, was like, fine, destroy all my stuff. I don't care.
It was the...
And until he cared, yeah.
Yeah.
It's great. Great book.
But, no, I think... We've planned out every novel. We kind of do the short stories if we are struggling to get a main book done in time. But we've got like 9 seasons planned, and we do the rumor engine just before every season. So I try not to give too much away.
Did you guys do The Last Church?
Sorry?
Have you done The Last Church?
No, not really, because there is a season we could put it in. I think we both watched the now, I mean, it's meant to have been removed YouTube video, but like Astartes,
that was really cool.
Anything is possible if you know where to look, So
right.
But that was really cool. So we've both watched that, so we kind of know what's up with it.
So what has been your guys' favorite quote unquote season that you've done?
Well, Varela's going to say the one we just did.
Yeah, the Scars one.
Super pumped. Super pumped for that.
Like, if anyone ever asks me what we would change, it's I'd do the first season again, because I think we did the first season we'd never done a podcast starting from the ground up, so we were
we did the same.
We were a bit more cordial. We were a bit more like play by play of the book, whereas like now we're just kind of unhinged and have all these running jokes and stuff. So I'd love to go back and do the first season. I think season 2 is really good. I forget we did. Because it was Thousand Suns, Prospero Burns, Mechanicum. Right. Is there something else? What did you
think of Mechanicum after Varela enters here?
Varela's favorite faction is Mechanicum.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
You keep saying disgusting.
We did Fulgrim as well that season. We did Fulgrim, and we did the Crimson Fist, which is what my background is of. I thought that was great. The Crimson Fist.
See, it's awesome. Interesting that you said that, like, Crimson Fist, like, you love. We have a Discord listener who, he hated your review of Crimson Fist, and because we've hyped you up several times. So I'm like, hey, we're definitely gonna have these guys on the podcast sometime because we've talked several times on Twitter. He's like, man, he's also a very, very large, Emperor's Fist
Imperial Fist.
Fan. Yes, Imperial Fist fan.
Yeah. That's cream soda beer kicking in, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Anything against the Imperial Fist, we have had to argue about every single time.
Yeah, so, he'll tell us that he hates our stuff too whenever we say that Rogel Dorn's not a great Primark. And I do it just the
we said he was a C tier, and he was so fucking pissed.
Because of what we said? Because of our review of Crimson Fist?
Yes.
Well, I'm actually planning on collecting Imperial Fists when when we get around to it. Like, there's the Fafnir Rand model. So I am a big Fist fan, but Alexis Pollux is so dumb. He's not a good character.
Right.
Yeah, I mean the fact that they turn around, like, it's the very Imperial Fist thing to do, right? Like, you were given your orders, you have to do it.
Yeah, but
no
it's
matter
like
what.
Just tell him you delayed an hour in the warp and finished this fight. You've got, it's I tried to think of like a real world example and put like my military history skills to a test, but it's like it wouldn't happen.
Because
it wouldn't happen.
No matter what, you'd always be like, I'm gonna finish my war first. And
Yeah.
no matter what, like, you're always gonna finish your battle. Like, think of like way back in the day, like when they didn't get their fucking like. They didn't know that the war was over for years. Like, they fucking fought until then.
Yeah.
The war could have been over for 4 years. Like, oh shit, I've been fighting this for 4 years for fucking nothing.
It's the Japanese dude in the islands that didn't know the World War II was over, and he
exactly,
kept,
shooting up Filipino police stations, thinking he was fighting a good fight.
I think it makes sense for me because I think after having this conversation of all these really bad decisions, the decision I would change the Primarch. So I was Horus, I would just put Sevatar in charge of the entire heresy, and I feel like they would have done a much better job.
We need to get into Sevatar. We can't.
He's so good.
I haven't covered him too much.
He's always in the short stories, which is the problem.
The short stories. Okay.
So like
he's in Crimson Fist, is he not?
Is he?
No, he's in Betrayer. He's in the first like Night Lord short story that ADB writes.
I thought Crimson Fist was a short story collection of the Imperial Fists and the Night Lords.
I think it's part of that anthology. It's Crimson Fist is a novella about the Battle of Fal.
Yes.
Where Perturabo goes up. It's like because it's like the Imperial Fist actually sent a massive force to Ispan 3 and get caught in the warp, and then
that's one of the stories of it.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was the Night Lords versus the Dark Angels. This is when the first time Sevatar showed up, and he was there when the line got fucked up by Conrad Kurz.
Okay.
And then we saw him again in another short story, and he was talking about how everyone that he worked with was an idiot, and he tried to kill the remaining captains of the Night Lords.
Yeah, so the Shadows of Treachery book, not the Crimson Fist is the short story.
Yeah.
The last book in it is called Prince of Crows. It's a short story by
it.
ADB. ADB does a very good job with that one, and it's basically it covers Sevatar, and it covers Chorus Corax a little bit, and not Chorus Corax, Conrad Kurz. Mix those two up a lot. It is really good. I highly suggest the read in the review because Sevatar just kind of comes out just like an unhinged badass, but he thinks very logically. So where you have a lot of the Space Marines, they're about honor and everything. He goes, well, we're going to lose this if we stay here, so I'm not going to do that,
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like a breath of fresh air because every single Space Marine you meet is like, we have to go avenge our fallen brothers or whatever.
He's like the better version of Deadpool. Is how I describe him.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though.
So I just I've also read Pharos, which has Alexis Pollux on the cover, so it's not that big a spoiler, and he doesn't come out looking good in that book either. So that's one to watch. But I like the Imperial Fists. I think they're cool. I think they're getting a lot of love at the moment. They got a Fafnir Ram model about to come out, but man, they make some dumb decisions because they're so stubborn.
So what's your guys' favorite books that you've done so far?
Obviously Scars, right? Varela's already on it.
Mine's Betrayer.
Is it Path of
I'm sure
Heaven or
Gavin's
Scars?
is also
That's
Betrayer.
the main question for Varela, is whether it's Scars or Path of Heaven.
It's Path of Heaven.
Yeah.
Path of Heaven. I literally downgraded every single other book I've ever reviewed in favor of Path of Heaven.
I've heard amazing things about it.
In terms of what we've covered on the podcast, or just what I've read?
What you've read in general.
Do both.
Okay. On the podcast. Well, in the podcast, it's in terms of like what we had the most fun talking about. I think Betrayer was probably one of the most you know, it was just funny. It was, you know, '07 Argyle tiles everywhere, and just we love to dump on Erebus. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have like listened to much of our podcast, but our review of Fear to Tread is the most fucking ridiculous thing we've ever done.
Okay.
If you ever have to listen to an episode, I would definitely highly recommend Fear to Tread because we are actually funny.
Oh, good. You're funny all the time.
They do. Yeah, I remember in that book there, like Sanguinius is getting trapped in the solar system, and each planet is corrupted by the chaos demons. And every time he goes to a planet, it's just like, oh, we're gonna blow that one up.
Yeah. He's like, that one's really fucked up. We should just missile it.
Yeah. 40K Inquisitor just pressing the big red button constantly.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's the entire book.
The planet's like moving and talking, and the Inquisitor's like, hey, I'm not going down there.
All right, so we have Betrayer as your favorite on the podcast. What's your favorite one that you've ever read? 40K, 30K, doesn't matter.
It's very boring, but Master of Mankind is my favorite.
I've heard that's really good.
It's it just does people get annoyed. So you either have people, it's like primarily, have you heard of Marmite in the UK? No. It's like a yeast extract spread that you put on. It looks like this sort of runny black liquid, right? And you put it on bread. And the thing is, what you say in the UK is you either love it or you hate it. And I think the depiction of the Emperor in Master of Mankind is very Marmite for people who read it. It's, for example, in Angel Exterminatus did not like the Emperor scenes at all. It was because he was so, as the Emperor, he was very cut and dry. He was very non-cryptic, whereas in Master of Mankind you get a lot of him, but after every passage you're just like, what? It's just like you have no idea. You leave the conversation but you don't actually know what's happened. You feel like something important's just happened, but nothing has been given away.
That just sounds like an Alpha Legion book, honestly.
Probably. Are you sure that wasn't Alfarius?
They pop up everywhere now, so who knows?
I mean, we do, every time we've had scenes with the Emperor, you walk away not knowing how to feel. And it's really because the Emperor is written as this incredibly ambiguous character that comes in to solve problems and create problems whenever the writers want to do that. And in reality, it's because no one really knows what the Emperor is or what his goals are, what he knows.
What he looks like.
Yeah, because he changes appearances multiple times throughout the book based off of who's describing him. So I find the character to be very interesting, but very frustrating as a reader sometimes, because sometimes I just want answers.
Yeah, I hope we never get any, to be honest. I think that's like part of the fun is theorizing. So I don't need this big exposition piece on the Emperor. I don't think it's necessary, because I think there's stuff even going on in the 40K novels now. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's people hunting to try and help the Emperor in the 40K novels. So like something big might be coming in 40K, which I think would be kind of cool. I would kind of like 40K to level up a notch in the narrative, because it's what I like about the Horus Heresy is the actions have consequences. It kind of feels in 40K, everyone goes into a field and punches the crap out of each other, but no one wins, and they all just go home and Abaddon teleports away. That's basically like every 40K narrative piece.
I feel
you were talking about the. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask if you were talking about the King in Yellow with that. Like that's a really cool arc.
Yeah, that is a really interesting story. I'm excited to read that. One thing that we did talk about with Graham when he was on here was what's the plan after the Horus Heresy, and I'm really hoping that the plan is to tackle the 40K universe, and I'm very excited for that because it's not a they get to do whatever they want. You know, there's not a final, this is how it has to end, because we have a story that starts up after that. So I think that would be really cool, unless they do the Scouring series more in detail.
I do want a smaller series. The thing I think what happened, I reckon the Horus Heresy was going to be like 10 books at most. And then Thousand Suns maybe landed. It goes New York Times bestseller. And then Games Workshop's like, let's milk those others, boys. we'll you know. And
that's what they've done, right?
And I think there's loads of great books in there, even, you know, in the middle. I think there's some real diamonds in the rough, but it kind of they just ran it until people demanded they went to the siege, and now they've gone to the siege is kind of how it feels like. I would like a small series on the Scouring. I would love almost like a West Wing style political drama with Rabute and Dawn lobbying Primarks to try and get them on their side regarding the Codex. I think that would be really cool, and some great Primark dialogue in the making there, because it's all like talked about how Dawn faces off with Gilliman and they just butting heads over this issue. I think that would be really cool, because all you got to put on top of that, they're all absolutely distraught in the aftermath of the Horus Heresy. They're all going to be like emotionally drained, and I think it would make some really good writing there.
They go to Vulcan. He's like, I've got 12 people left, so either way swings with me.
Like, I won't die, but everyone else is gonna die.
And kind of bridge the gap and do the scouring. I hope. Isn't Dawn of Fire meant to be like the Horus Heresy of 40k already? Though I kind of remember when they launched 9th edition, they said that Dawn of Fire was going to be the next big thing, but I don't think it's landed yet as people would have liked.
I think really what I think is happening is you have Dawn of Fire, and that was their idea for it, but people are still very hooked on the heresy. And I think once that's over, there's going to be more of a push to understand 40k lore more. But the other issue with 40k is the fact that you have hundreds of books completely unconnected in different settings, and people don't know where to start. You know, with the Horus Heresy, you just start it. And you pick up the books that you want to pick up, and it seems very all over the place in this. And I love it because it's such a huge universe. You can tell a story or do anything. We played an entire D&D campaign one time in the 40k universe. Like you can do anything you want. But I think readers are a little cautious about jumping into that big pool of whatever you want.
Like it's so hard to like. It's hard to introduce because it's like, oh, like if you want to get into Horus Heresy, it's 52 books or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, yes, you can definitely like cut things out. You've seen all the fucking like trees, right? Of like, oh, if you follow like this path, like you can like follow like the white scars, you can follow the world use, like whatever. But at the same time, like you're also missing out on several different like short stories, like whatever.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem with the Horus Heresy is that like they haven't made it like a mainstream way to like go through it. Whereas I think like I really fucking hate to say this, like fucking Riot Games, like making like Arcane, like made like such a good decision with how like they started like their anime series to like put like one area like they had like Piltover or whatever. It was like genius. Because I think about it, like if you did Games Workshop, like you could do like an entire planet in like a season. Like you can like build up every single legion. And think about it, it's 18 legions, right? Easy. I mean that's so much money right there, just the 18 seasons. And then you can have all the random bullshit that happens. Exactly.
That's the kind of long-term planning Games Workshop loves, man. They're like, oh, we're going to be set until 2030.
They fucking hate long-term plans. Like, that's going to cost money. We should do that in-house. Let's not let anyone else ever touch this shit.
It costs 4 cents to print a book. People will buy that.
Yeah, 4 cents. How about we put it on eBay for like $85? The only reason I got fucking Vulcan Lives is because one of our listeners sent it to me because he got it on eBay for like $5. Every time I saw it, it was like $50 easy.
I don't understand what's happened with that. Because for example, I for Christmas I got my dad. It's an omnibus called Crusade's End, which is a couple of short stories, like Death of the Silversmith and one of the other ones, and then the first 3 books of the Horus Heresy. And I got that for £5. It was in okay condition. It's readable. I got it for £5, and then the page refreshed, and to buy it again, the next seller was at £75, and I was like, what the hell's going on? So I got him that, and I've given it to him. And he's not into him, and Graham McNeil's probably wouldn't see eye to eye on what's good in a sci-fi novel. So I do the first 3 books, and then I've given him my copy of Thousand Suns, at least, because I think Thousand Suns is a pretty safe one, and my dad's sort of into the Expanse and stuff. So there's sort of routes I can send him down, but it's like nothing's in print. He likes to have a book in his hand, and it's kind of like, I don't really understand where they've all gone.
We have a majority of them, but about halfway through, I think it's exactly what you were talking about earlier. You get the first few books that they were planning on writing, and they sold like crazy. And then once you get to that middle part, they actually, even though they're newer books, they're out of print because no one's buying them. They're not as popular.
Even like Garo, like I cannot find Garo for cheap for shit. Like when I was looking for Vulcan Lives, like the cheapest I could find was $50 like USD.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for one of our listeners that like he like randomly found on eBay for $5. Like I had been looking for months. He found it for $5 and he sent it to us.
Nice.
Because he knew I was searching for it.
That's good.
And like if it wasn't for that, like I would have either had to buy the digital version, I would have had to buy like the audio version, like whatever. Like I'm trying to collect the books so I can like I can show it. Yeah. Hey, look, like I've read all the Horus Hour, so like you should definitely get into this type of deal.
I mean, what's the point of a quarter zip if you don't have a cool bookcase to go with it, right?
Goddamn right.
And your fireplace,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're quite fortunate because Varela doesn't mind reading on his. You read on your phone, don't you? Is that right?
No, I read on my PC.
Oh, you like? Okay.
Yeah.
Even more.
My phone can't handle any kind of application.
And I listen to the audiobooks. Some of the audiobooks I'm kind of like and then but some of them are great. I think Legion in particular is a standout audiobook that I would even if
that was a good one.
Yeah.
I have a rough time with audiobooks sometimes. I do a lot of driving though, so that's like perfect for me. But there are some audiobooks that are rough. I think Mechanicum was very difficult for me because everybody that talked had the mechanical kind of can't. That was really rough.
Yeah, I can only imagine what the briefing was like for the voice actor there. It was like, okay, so everyone is robots in this book. So just do what you can. And so he's just doing a slight different tweak every time. I thought the content was great, and I love I love some of the lesser explored battles. So, for example, the Imperial Fist mission to Mars is probably one of my favorite battles in the Horus Heresy.
The Imperial Fist snatch and grab.
Yeah, the snatch and grab.
Are we gonna say
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
We're here for the guns.
Yeah. There's always people trying to get on the tools of transport. It's like, no, ammunition first, please. And then if there's room, you can sit on the crates.
Right, listen, if you can wear a Mark 6 plate of armor, you can get on. But other than that...
all the Imperial Fists that came were actually going to ask you to take off your armor and put it on the ship, and then you stay. Just some very, very interesting stuff there. I haven't really got a lot into the particular battles. I'm sure, like, other than what's in the books, I'm sure the like codexes or the rules that came out had like battle.
Yeah.
That would have been really cool to read into, but I didn't join the tabletop till about 2 years ago, so I wasn't into the older stuff.
That was last year.
Yeah, no, it's when you see the maps that you realize how disjointed all these battles are when they're written by different authors, when you've got people appearing in completely different places. But I kind of just think
about like you like have like the world isn't invading like Ultramar and like just destroying Ultramarines. Like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like they should be super strategic, and the Ultramarines or the world is the complete opposite.
Yeah. Depending on the writer, that's what I always viewed about the Ultramarines is they're very powerful if the book's about them, but if they're in the way, they're nothing.
Yeah, they can.
There's even that one planet. I think it's called Armatura or something, where it's just this massive forest planet, and they just kind of walk in and leave. Like they just take it.
Yeah. I mean, see, you have the military tactic kind of background, and when you have your troops blacking out and going off alone into alleyways, I feel like that's a much easier force to take down for a very strategic, unified military.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Might be a bit.
There are cases of, I think the German troops in World War II were given some pretty weird chocolate that just made them go super fast. So basically the closest thing you can get to butcher's nails is chocolate with methamphetamine in it. Is basically the example we can draw.
That is crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's wild. But yeah.
Well, I think that like we have like a million questions, but we've also been on for a lot of time now, so
yeah.
Maybe sometime in the future we can do another one of these, like get together, talk about some other things when we've gotten further in the books. But we really appreciate you guys like coming in and joining and talking with us.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks for
It was
having
really
me.
fun. Yeah, it was
Please
good.
feel free to plug your shit right here, and we'll plug our stuff at the end, and we'll be good.
Things the PR guy.
Yeah, Varela's production, and I do human relations. So you can follow us at Horus Hour Pod on Twitter, and we are on YouTube as just Horus Hour.
All right,
So
are you guys
feel free to
putting
check us out.
your podcast on there, or do you just have random videos on there?
We've literally got one video because
That's what I thought, because I saw it recently.
I did it just before I left for Christmas. So it's just a video talking about the new Horus Heresy minis. And then if anything comes out of LVO, I'll do a video then. So it's more about the tabletop side a little bit, I guess.
Gotcha. That's sweet. So as always, you guys can always reach out to us. You can email us at Heresy Lodge. Join our Discord, because our Discord is so fucking fun. You guys should also get on it. You can find that on our Twitter. It's pinned to the top at Heresy Lodge. Email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. Leave us comments. It's always a good time. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. This was fun. I'm glad we finally got together. Hopefully we can both get more authors on.
Yeah,
and can
that's the
expand our list of the Primark rankings, because I think it's very interesting, especially pre-chaos bullshit. Because once the chaos gets involved, it's crazy.
My goal is Henry Cavill. If we can get Henry Cavill on, we've won.
Hey, I'm already in his DMs, man. I DM'd him weeks ago.
Doesn't mean he replied, but we're there.
Man, I've been, I found his actual address. And I just keep sending him mails. Eventually, a carrier pigeon, maybe. That's like the last straw.
I hear the window's also a good option. Sometimes if the easiest way to get him, just go up on knock on that, and he usually comes by. It always brings police officers though. It's weird.
All right, thanks guys for joining us. We will see you guys next week for Vulcan Lives.
Yes, that we will be previewing Vulcan Lives. Have a good one.